Hello, welcome back to Solo-Ensemble.com. My name is Douglas Abernathy. I'm the owner and developer of Solo-Ensemble.com. This series of videos walks you through the user interface of the software. In this particular video, we're looking at updates made for the 2020-2021 school year and focusing on the contest staff perspective. The new features that I want to highlight today are focused on appearance improvements, ease of use, and the most exciting development we've put together are the ability to run fully virtual contests. In the appearance category, we've added some new icons to make things a little more clear and just refresh the entire interface throughout. Some items that used to be contained on a page are now available through what's called a modal pop-up dialog box, and then they go away when you're done using them. This is especially important for like "Are you sure?" confirmations. We've achieved some better consistency. We've moved some items onto the toolbars. So all of the features that you know and love are still present in the program, but some might be in a slightly different place than you're used to. Under ease of use, many of the features that have been added are going to benefit the contest staff. You can now add judges, accompanists, and other contest staff members directly from within the software. You simply provide their information, name, email, affiliation, and even a default password, and then click a button and it will send an email and invite those people. If they're already a member of Solo-Ensemble.com, it will simply connect them to your contest in whatever role you've selected. You can also assign judges to specific performances. This is extremely important when performing a pre-recorded video judging virtual contest, because otherwise judges wouldn't have an idea of which performances they're expected to adjudicate. You also can now see a detailed summary of your remaining performances, including the ID number, such as Solo 34926, the name of the student or ensemble, the school, and even the judge to which you've assigned that performance. And you can sort by those. So it's kind of nice to know who's left in your process if you're in the middle of, let's say, a week-long virtual contest. I've improved the downloads so that schools and contest staff can view and download comment sheets in a number of different ways. And we've figured out a way to incorporate this Outstanding Performance Awards directly within the existing scoring structure. So let's move forward. This is, of course, the biggest update we've made. We've always been an online system, but now you can actually conduct really, truly virtual contests. We do this in a couple of ways. The first is where you come in as contest staff. We have what's called video channels. And video channels are, of course, you would set up a account on a live streaming service such as Zoom or Teams or Google Hangouts. And those normally have to be scheduled. It has to be Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. for 2 hours kind of thing. So because it involves time scheduling, I've connected that to the sessions construct within Solo-Ensemble.com. And if you've used Solo-Ensemble.com before, you still might not have used sessions. So sessions are a way that we set up blocks of time and then assign things to it, such as a room or a school or a resource, and now a video channel. Video links, on the other hand, are something that allows a judge to view a pre-recorded video of a performance. And those links are created and uploaded by the school staff. They also create and upload links to sheet music because, of course, if a judge is going to evaluate a performance, they normally expect to have the sheet music available. So again, the school staff are going to be performing the uploading and recording of the video links and the sheet music links, and the contest staff are the ones that set up the video channels. And we'll, of course, go through these in a quick demo. One nice thing about these is that in any given contest, you could have any combination of these. You could have some live judging happening at one time window. You could have remote judging being done, for example, throughout a weekend. With pre-recorded performances. And you could even have a live in-person, for example, in a larger room now that we have to be a little more safe about separating ourselves from each other. You could still have a live contest. So all three of those could be going on at the same time within the same contest. So you don't have to have a different contest event depending on what type it is. Just to wrap up here, video channel judging is synchronous, meaning the judge and the student have to be online on the same software at the same time, like a Zoom meeting. Video links is asynchronous, and that's when the students upload their performances and the judges can then view them at their leisure and then still use the software to enter their scores. Again, kind of going into more detail here, virtual contest links. We've realized that storing music or files on our server was a little problematic from a lot of perspectives, and so we decided to create what we call links. And that simply means that the files are stored on some system. Videos, for example, can be stored on YouTube and made what's called unlisted, and therefore they can't be searched. But you can still get to the video if you have the exact link. So what we've done in Solo-Ensemble.com is to allow the links are what is shared on our software. So when a teacher uploads a video, copies the URL, which is the Uniform Resource Locator, it's the actual web address for that video, then they have a place to paste it within Solo-Ensemble.com, give it a title, and give it a little description, and then save it. And that link object is then accessible by you as contest staff, and also by the judges, and even by the accompanists. So that's how we implement everything, is via links. And as I said before, the links are then accessed by the right people. Video channels, as I mentioned earlier, is where you come in again, where contest staff schedule these video meetings. You might have, for example, a Zoom account that lets you schedule it at any time. That's fine. But in any case, you create a video channel yourself, and you put a name, the full URL, so it's clickable, and then a brief description. And then you save that into a list, and you'll see those. And then you associate those with your contest sessions. And that is how the right school and the right judge and the right accompanist will actually see those links, because they will actually go to the session that you assign to them, and so they will see the video links available. You could also use the video link feature to set up, for example, a collaboration between you and some of the judges. For example, during a placement audition event where you have a number of students being evaluated, you could simply set up a video link yourself and assign it to you, assign it to the judges, and then as long as they, of course, know when to be online, then you could actually have like a Zoom meeting to discuss this. So it can be used for other things. As I said, video links are the responsibility of the school. They create and upload a video link to YouTube or Google Drive or OneDrive. The nice thing about this system is that it's agnostic as to where the videos are stored, so long as the links that they provide are available to be clicked on by you or the judge. Because it shouldn't be a protected area unless a school district really requires that, in which case that's why we've allowed, under this brief description, there might be a way that you have to log into the system to see the video. Obviously, I think we discourage that if we can get around it, because you can still have so-called public links that are still hidden from the general public, because you have to actually have the full link in the URL. But it's going to be up to your contest in each school. The school staff assign the videos, and then, like I said, the judges will see that, and we'll show how that works. Finally, sheet music links. Again, same concept, except now it's a static file, and they normally are going to store it on like Google Drive or OneDrive. And then the same concept here, they give it a name, they paste in the full URL. Oh, and by the way, the link name for music, we strongly suggest using the title of the selection, and the link name for the student performances, we strongly suggest using the name of the student or ensemble, because after they've created the links, they have to go back and assign it to individual student performances, and without that name, they're going to be a little lost as to which one belongs to who. All right, back to sheet music. Judge performance assignments. We never bothered assigning judges directly to performances in the past because for live contests, a judge would simply, adjudicate whoever walked in the room. And that actually kind of still works even for video channel judging. But when you get into the pre-recorded judging, well, that's a different matter now, because each judge, unless you specifically create your own offline list of who is responsible for which performance, they're not going to know which one to judge. So we've added that into Solo-Ensemble.com, and I'll show you that in a brief demo, how you as contest staff assign judges to performances. And you can look over the performances based on, for example, what school they're from, or what type of performances, what type of instrument, and therefore you can assign, of course, the appropriate judge to the right performances. We also did not restrict the ability of a judge to go ahead and adjudicate any performance, and it's just going to be up to you and the judges to make sure they don't judge the wrong ones. But if, for example, you need someone to fill in, maybe one judge is falling behind and they still have half a dozen or a dozen more performances yet to go, you can simply ask a different judge to judge a particular performance, and they still can find and adjudicate that performance. Finally, the way that the school staff manage all this, they have their own special page called Create and Manage Links for their video links and their sheet music links, and they can see which performances that they've been assigned to. So it's a nice all-in-one place where the school staff go to show that. I did have a video focused on the school staff, and you can see it in that location. All right. So I think we've seen enough of that. Let's go over to the contest start page. You get here from Solo-Ensemble.com by clicking on Contest Login, and you're at the start page. And we're going to log in as me. And you arrive at the member dashboard. It's the same dashboard you've used in the past if you've been a client, but we've updated it with some fresh new icons. The icon for dashboard's different, and you'll notice the icons here are a little bit cleaner looking. Also, accompanist is now a piano icon, which makes a lot of sense. Judge uses the same edit icon, a cog for your staff and yourself. And then instead of an apple, which we used to use, now we're using a school building symbol for the school. So we're going to go ahead and go in as a member of the contest staff. This is, of course, the most comprehensive of all of the menus in Solo-Ensemble.com, and we've got them in those three different zones. One is for before the contest, one is just a tracking of all your people, and the last is actions you take in the midst of a contest. So I'm not going to have time to go through every one of these in this video. I'm going to focus on the highlights. Let's look at inviting people. So most typically you want to invite judges. There's your list of existing judges. You can see I'm on here twice, but under different emails. Those are technically different people in the Solo-Ensemble.com ecosystem. And so how would you invite or add another judge? Up here along the top, this lets you jump to the schools, the accompanists, and then your staff. Invitation emails are where you set the default values for all these emails, and you have a different default for every category of every role. And this tag is where you assign judges to their performances, and we'll come back to that in a second. But this last button here, invite judge to contest, that's where you're going to actually create and send an email. So we're going to click on that, and here's where you type in the judge name. So Roger McPherson. An affiliation, if you know what school they belong to, for example. So he's going to be a member of Gooberville High School, and his email is roger@gooberville.edu, and a default password might be Roger123. And of course, if you're going to assign a default password, you probably will have to tell them that. So you could put that in the body of the email. And down here, there's two text boxes. One is for text that will be sent in the email if that person is not already a Solo-Ensemble.com member. The second box is text for people who are already Solo-Ensemble.com members, but might not simply be associated with your contest. The beauty about this is that you don't have to know. You don't have to know which one they are, because if the email you provided is in our database, then they are a member, and it will simply connect them to your contest. If the email, in this case, roger@gooberville.edu, is not in our database, and I assure you that one is not, then it will actually create an account for them and send an email to that, and that's probably not going to go anywhere, but I'll go ahead and make the send anyway. So here's where you would say your username is this email and your password is Roger, let's spell it right, Roger123, period. And so you just edited the text of what will be sent to the user. So I'm going to click invite. The database churns away and says a new ID was created. He was added to your contest as a judge, and a welcome email was sent. Now, you and I know that email is not going to go anywhere, but in the real world, it would have gone to them. And right away, you can see that there they are, Roger McPherson at Gooberville. And you can click on there. And this is, let's see. You can view all the comment sheets from that judge after the contest. And now we can get into the second feature, which is assigning performances to that judge. So we're going to click on Roger. And at left is all the available solos that have not already been assigned. And at the right is all the ones that have been assigned to Roger. Well, we know that there's none assigned to Roger. So we're going to pick the clarinets. You can use Windows, you can use Control Click, and probably Command Click in Windows, in Mac. I'm going to assign him alto clarinet, and that's pretty much all I want to assign to him. The others are not very much the same. So we're going to click the button here, which moves them over, and then we haven't committed until we hit Save Changes. So Save Changes, 2 solos assigned successfully, so now Roger now has those 2 solos assigned to him, and you can actually make sure you know what type of instrument and what school and all that. So we'll go back here to a new screen you haven't seen yet called Judge Performance Assignments, which we got to from the earlier one. So let me go there instead. We'll go to Main Menu, we'll go to Judges, and we'll go to Judge Performance Assignments. So here's the survey of all of the judges in your contest and how many solos, how many ensembles, and how many placement auditions to which they've been assigned. And so you can see here that Roger now has 2 solos assigned to him and 0 ensembles and 0 placements. So this is a way for you to balance the load, so to speak. So in case you realize that one judge has got a great deal more than the others, you can remove assignments equally well. This 4 here means that this judge, which is me, I have 4, all the bassoons. So I'm going to give up a couple of bassoons here. So we're going to click, remove those. They're now available to be assigned to other people, and Save Changes. And when we go back to the list, you'll see that now I only have 2. So that's Judge Performance Assignments. Very useful, especially for pre-recorded performances. Back to our main menu. Like I said, I've made a number of improvements, but let's just focus here on the remaining performances is nice. This is a list of all the performances in your contest that have not yet been adjudicated. And you can sort that by name and school and even by the assigned judge. And this is the ID number, and it's even editable. You can go in and look at the solo itself. Same thing for ensembles and for placement auditions. So it's back to the main menu. This is where you set the default text for those invitation emails. You're going to want to probably have different default text for a judge versus an accompanist versus a contest staff. So if you click here, this is the email text for a judge, the default, which is what shows up when you first go to that form. And this is the default text for an accompanist and for a contest staff. And for now I have text for inviting a school, but I haven't implemented that just yet because one person can belong to more than one school, and I haven't figured out the best way to do that. All right, so back to my menu. I think that is enough for today's video. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you continue to use and enjoy Solo-Ensemble.com software, and we'll see you in the next video.